We're live. Yippee. Okay, welcome everyone to our live stream. We're just 1 minute late. Well, YouTube, you were only 30 seconds late. The only reason why I stayed silent was I was trying to get Facebook to start because I hate saying hello and goodbye twice. Everyone knows that. But anyway, that's not bad for 1 minute. I was ready to. I was woke up by a family member. That was good. If they didn't wake me up, we would have been away later. Um, They actually woke me up a little bit. Uh, they didn't wake me up right when I needed to. It was a little bit earlier than that, but I was pretty slow on setting up because I did not get a lot of sleep this past week. So if I was at my normal speed, I would have been ready to start on time. But only 1 minute. At least for Facebook, so that's not bad. 30 seconds for YouTube, that's not bad. Um, though, oh man, I am very tired though. The fact that I lost a lot of sleep this past week. And so yes, I was way slower than normal. So even though I was woken up a little bit early for setting up, even though I had an extra few minutes to get ready, they didn't wake me up way early. It was only like a few minutes early, a few minutes before I had to before I had to start setting up. So, it was only just a few minutes extra, but even with those few minutes, I was way slow. And so, anyway, but we didn't start too bad. We still started on time. Not too bad. Um, anyway, welcome to our live stream. Anyway, so tonight's a little bit different. We have never gone. So, Once Upon a Time has a bunch of 2-hour episodes, and especially when it comes to finales, usually. It's just that when we watched season 1 and 2 and Wonderland, there was no 2-hour episodes. But Once Upon a Time is known from season 3 and onwards with its 2-hour season finales. And they also do 2-hour episodes sometimes in the middle of the season, not every season, just some seasons. And you know, they're considered 2-hour episodes because they're two episodes combined into one. And when we watched them live, they would be one big episode. But when you would watch them later on a streaming service, it would be split into two episodes. But when you watch it on DVD, it was one episode. So they kept it as one episode on DVD, but on streaming services, you have two episodes. So anyway, it's like a part one and part two. I'm just still tired. But it's like a part one and part two. And you know. And I didn't know what we were gonna do when we got to this point. But we're here, so I have to make a decision now. We're gonna watch the episodes as they aired. We're gonna watch it as one episode, not as two episodes. So this is gonna be tricky because I want to avoid credits as much as possible. So we don't have to worry about that now. So how the schedule is gonna work is we have one more episode to watch before we do this. So don't worry. We're gonna watch one episode. It's the one where we get to meet Dorothy and see how she defeats the Wicked Witch. And then we're gonna see how the heroes in the present day defeat the Wicked Witch, you know? Um However, according to the Wizard of Oz, how does Dorothy defeat the Wicked Witch? She throws a bucket of water on her and she melts. I don't think that works on Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time is so logic. Water doesn't really kill you unless it's boiling hot and it burns you to death. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't make you melt per se. It just gets you wet. So if we use real world logic, just like we do in Once Upon a Time, that's probably not going to happen, right? It's not going to work unless the Wicked Witch is somehow faking her death. So we'll see what Dorothy does, right? We'll see if it works. Well, obviously, it doesn't because the Wicked Witch is alive in present day. But we'll see if Dorothy could defeat the Wicked Witch, and if that doesn't work, how will she be defeated? You guys are gonna find out. Okay, we're gonna watch that episode around 7 to 7:45. And then at 7:45, that's when we start our 2-hour season finale. Now it's not actually 2 hours. That's with commercial breaks. Each Once Upon a Time episode was an hour on ABC when it aired, and and with two episodes combined, it was 2 hours. So anyway, this is not really a 2-hour episode. It's an hour and a half because each episode requires 15 minutes of commercial breaks. So it's still like a movie though. It's like an hour and a half Back to the Future movie. And it's a movie where Emma and Hook and Rumpelstiltskin, they're back in time. Just Emma and Hook really, but they go reach out the Rumpelstiltskin in the past. It's the same plot. Emma interrupts her parents from meeting and she has to get them to fall back in love. The only difference between Back to the Future and this is that Prince Charming is not falling in love with Emma. You know, it's not going that route. It's not where Prince Charming's falling in love with Emma, and Emma and Hook have to figure out how to get him to fall in love with Snow White again. It's not like that. You know, how Lorraine fell in love with Marty, and um, anyway, and Marty had to get Lorraine to fall in love with George instead, or George to fall in love with Lorraine. But anyway, not exactly the same, but still, Emma doesn't interrupt her parents from meeting, so she has to get them to meet and fall in love again. And then, remember in Back to the Future Part 3, when Doc falls in love with Clara and debates on whether to take her back or stay in the past, we get something similar like that. Emma runs into somebody and debates on whether saving her or not. Now she doesn't want to stay in the past with her, but but like Clara Clayton, who was supposed to die and fall over the ravine, there's going to be a character in this show that was supposed to die, and Emma saves her life, and so they have to debate on whether killing her or bringing her to the future with them. And so anyway, you got a little bit of Back to the Future Part 1 and a little bit of Back to the Future Part 3. Anyway, this is a great Back to the Future remake, in my opinion. Normally it shouldn't be touched on or ruined. No, I like it as a trilogy. There should be no part 4. There should be no remake. But, this is one exception. Okay? Plus, they're not using the characters, so it's not ruining the franchise. They're just borrowing the plot. And I really like this plot. This would be an exception. Back to the Future remake for me. Plot wise. So, I hope you're with me on that, and I hope you agree after we watch the episode tonight. But the time travel episode is 2 episodes long. So, it's episodes 21 and 22. But I like to call it one big episode. So what I want to do is watch it as if there's no credits in between. So I want to try to push the next episode as quick as I can, as quick as possible. For people on Disney Plus and Hulu, that will work. Disney DVD, on the other hand, it doesn't let you skip the credits. You usually watch the credits unless you fast forward, but that even takes a few seconds to do that. So I don't think for everyone who's using a DVD copy to sync with my commentary, it's not going to work. We're going to not be synced by the second half of that finale. So, as far as DVD, I don't know what to tell you. I'm hoping most of you are using Hulu or Disney Plus to watch the show, or you bought it on some other streaming place, because you can buy it on other places like Fando and YouTube. But it's only for monthly subscriptions. It's only free on Disney Plus and Hulu. So I mean, I hope you're watching it for free on Disney Plus and Hulu. Um, you know, if you did buy the seasons online somewhere else, again, still, you know, um, what I think we're gonna do to make sure everyone's gonna stay sync is, for everyone using Disney Plus, Hulu, or streaming services, DVD, you're just gonna have to pause the live stream, okay? Pause the live stream for everyone using a DVD copy. It is 7 o'clock now, so we're gonna get started. So here's what I want us to do. For anyone using Hulu, Disney Plus, or something else that's a streaming lit related thing, uh, duplicate your tabs. Okay, here's what I mean by that. Um, if you let's see, if everyone else had to duplicate tabs, right? Right. If you let's see, I'm trying to think. If you let right click on your mouse or left click, whatever not when you push enter on something, but whatever you know whatever you do when you like on your mouse, right click, left click instead, and when it gives you the option to reload, pin, mute site, new tab on the right, new tab on the left, click duplicate. There should be a thing called duplicate on your computer. Once you click it, you should have two tabs saying Once Upon a Time on Disney Plus without you having to open another window and finding Disney Plus on it. No, 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 no. Something faster you can do is just left click or right click, whichever one is not pushing enter with your mouse, right? Click click the opposite of enter, and there should be a menu pop up that shows you how to duplicate your screen, and then you just click duplicate. And so anyway, what I want us to do is for now we're just going to watch episode 20 because that's not part of the 2 hour episode. When we're done with that episode, we may talk a couple minutes in between because we always talk in between episodes even when we don't want to. um when we get ready for episode 21 of Once Upon a Time, use one click episode 21 on one of your tab. Not now because we're going to watch episode 20, but when we get to that point, um you'll click episode 21, and then as usual you'll pause it, rewind, and then go to your duplicate tab and click episode 22, pause it, rewind. Actually, we don't want we don't want to recap on episode 22. We don't want to recap. So make sure the recap is skipped, you know, obviously. Um we'll worry about this when we watch the time travel episode. We still have to watch episode 20 first. So let's go so for now, you know, um I don't care which duplicate tab you use. I don't care which tab you use, which Disney Plus tab you use to watch episode 20. So for now, we'll worry about that after we finish episode 20. It's 7:03. So we'll worry about that after we finish episode 20. But for now, click play on episode 20. Um and then let's see, when I pause it, we're not going to skip the recap obviously, but for this for this episode. But if you pause and rewind, the timestamp should be 44 minutes and 10 seconds if you're doing Disney Plus. Hulu might be different, but 44 minutes and 10 seconds is on my Disney Plus thing when I pause it. So make sure that's what it is on yours. If it's not, then click and go rewind. But it's 44 minutes and 10 seconds. If everyone's there, we're going to start. I just need to plug in my headphones because I forgot. Okay. So we do have one episode we have to get through first before the Back to the Future one. But, I'll tell you how to do it. I did tell you. I'll show. I can't show you. I will explain it more to you on how to do what we're gonna do after we get through this first episode. Okay. Just seeing. Okay, so far everything's good. No one's watching. That sucks. Okay. Well, anyway. All right. I'm sure people will jump in as we're continuing the episodes. All right. So, if everyone's timestamp's at 44 minutes, 10 seconds. My headphones are plugged in. We're going to push play in 3. Not when I say 1, when I say now. Okay? So, don't push play when I say 1. Push play when I say the word now. Okay? 3, 2, 1, now. Hook slips are cursed. The curse is broken. Snow White's about to give birth to a baby. And Glinda cannot help defeat the Wicked Witch because she's not powerful enough. Oh well. So we have Charming's courage. That's the cowardly lion. We have Rumple's golden brain, which is the scarecrow. And then we have Regina's heart, which covers the Tin Man. So we have all the Oz from the Wizard of Oz ingredients. But now we're just missing Snow White's baby, which has nothing to do with Dorothy trying to get back home. So that comparison does not work very well. But all the Wicked Witch needs to complete her time travel spell is Snow White's baby. We're just we're one episode away from it. As the flashback goes, the Wicked Witch is a little jealous about Rumple training Regina. Not right now, at least. She can't go back in time. Mm. You're real, sisters. Like Regina's not real enough. Part of me, after skipping so much sleep, almost didn't want to do the marathon tonight, but I was like, "No, this is the season finale. We gotta finish the season tonight." So that's what motivated me, was that we were at the end of the season, and I wanted to just finish it already because then after tonight, we'll be halfway through the show. I didn't wanna delay that, so I'm glad I didn't cancel or anything due to the lack of sleep I've had this week. I missed 3 days of sleep, really. That is not good for your health. Oh. Sorry, I'm just so tired. I don't know if I'm gonna be talking very much, but I'm talking right now, at least. So hopefully you're synced. Yeah, yeah. Th- last time, you didn't have magic. This time you do. Last time, Snow and Charming lost Emma because of the Queen's curse. Now they're up against the Wicked Witch. Luckily, no curse. I mean, there was a curse, but luckily Snow White didn't give birth this time, so her pregnancy was able to be on hold until the curse was broken. He looks great. So I'm just looking at a few things. Emma, they did the whole reason Snow and Charming cast the curse was Emma's the only one to defeat her. She has like magic, product of true love. Emma could defeat her light magic. That's what we learned last episode. So once Aunt Hook kisses Emma, let's hope that doesn't happen. Henry has his memories back. He is not going to complain this time. It's nice to have our real Henry back. Sadly, he couldn't see his father before he passed, though. Yeah, let's end this. I'm ready for a new season. Let's wrap this season up. Emma's like, let's end this. I agree. That's why I was so motivated to not to continue with our marathon despite the 3 days of sleep I did not get. Hey, we haven't seen Archie since like forever. We kind of saw him like a couple times in season 3, but not that much. He's not been useful since season 2. Yeah, Henry and Archie haven't seen each other for a year. They're trying to look for apartments. Well, fortunately, when we get to season 4, you'll find out that Emma and Henry are still living under Snow White's roof. So we'll be crowded when the baby's here. That is true. Yeah, and they share custody. So Henry always goes back and forth between Emma and Regina. It's what happens when you have. Well, normally it's what happens when you have divorced parents. But this is different. Two mothers. One abandoned him, the other adopted him, and now that she's back in his life, the adopted mother does not wanna let go, so it's like that's how they share custody. It's not anything divorce related. Regina and Emma decided they're both mothers because Regina raised him for 10 years, and now Emma's here to raise him for the rest of his life. The 8 years he has left before he's an adult. Rumple, he doesn't wanna be evil, he doesn't wanna do this, but he Selena has the dagger. Hmm. Yeah. Change your future. Change your destiny. Don't change the past. Change your future. Be a better person. Don't be wicked. You should listen to Glinda, but then we wouldn't have her on the show because she wouldn't be that interesting if she didn't choose the wrong. Sometimes people have to fall. Sometimes some people have to fall off the straight and narrow to keep the show interesting. And plus, we know she's wicked in the present, so the flashbacks can't really make her good. Boom. Well, who else comes to Oz by a tornado? Dorothy does, so she could also be the witch of the West. Now, she does go back to Kansas, yes. But as we go through the show, we'll get to see grown-up Dorothy too, and she comes back to Oz, and I think, I could see, it doesn't show us in the show, but I could see her with her staying in Oz as an adult. She's probably potentially the wicked witch, I mean, the good witch of the West. So that's what ultimately happens. Dorothy ends up being the witch. Technically, it's not a spoiler because they don't focus on that in the show at all. It doesn't even say that it's a witch, but I can kind of see that having seen the whole show from the beginning to the end, seeing its potential and see where it ends up. Kind of like how God sees us from the beginning to the end. I know the show's potential and where it's going. So, oh, too bad Selena couldn't be the chosen one though. She could have been the chosen one, but she did not choose the straight and narrow. She did not choose the right, unfortunately. But also Dorothy, at least for this episode, doesn't choose to be the witch either. But she still chooses the right and decides to go home. Which is still not a bad choice. She has agency, and her family probably missed her anyway. So why would she want to stay in Oz when she has a family back in Kansas to get back to? Stronger. All magic comes with a price. All magic comes with a price, and with the prices, now that you wear the necklace, it doesn't affect you until you put it on. But once you put it on, it's stuck with you forever. It takes your magic away if you take it off. So you have to keep the necklace on if you want to keep your powers now. You had powers before the necklace, but now the necklace controls them. So all your powers will be taken if you don't have that necklace. Mhm. Look, she's not even green anymore. We're used to seeing her like that because in Storybrooke, green skin is not real. So um, we're used to seeing her with no green. In Once Upon a Time's version, the Wicked Witch was not born green. She gained green skin by jealousy. So when you're jealous, your skin turns green. Only for the Wicked Witch, though, and only for people who live in Oz. Wicked Witch is entering the hospital. No, not Bill! Don't knock her out. She's not dead. The Wicked Witch just knocked her off. And she's mean. Your true love has really gone downhill. What? How dare you say that about Rumple and Belle? Oh wow, Wicked Witch is more powerful than Regina. Another Wicked versus Evil. Who won? Wicked. Last chance to choose sides, guys. Evil or Wicked. There's no good. There's no righteous. If you had to choose between just evil and wicked, which one? Well, remember, evil is now repenting of her sins. Evil is referring to the evil queen who's now good. So you could easily choose evil, and because that's just a disguise for good. Wicked, on the other hand, is just plain on wicked. It doesn't repent. So that should help you choose sides better, evil or wicked. Robin couldn't stop her. Regina couldn't stop her. What will? It's Dorothy. She's just a little kid right now. Hmm. Oh, poor Regina. She failed. And Snow White's barely giving birth to her baby. It's a boy! Woohoo! Congratulations on your second born. Aww. Aww. It's a little boy. Now remember, the curse froze time for 28 years. So imagine you're a 28-year-old child and your parents have another baby. Normally they wouldn't. You have a sibling who's 28 years apart from you. That's almost like having your own child. No, not the Wicked Witch. I can't believe she succeeded in taking Snow's baby. It's happening again. The second she gives birth to the child, she loses it. It's happened again. Emma was well, they purposely got rid of Emma to save the curse, but she got put through a wardrobe. But now, right after giving birth, Charming took her. But now the Wicked Witch has taken her second baby, and now in all that time of Neverland, wishing that she could have another child and not miss their first steps, their first words, their first smile, to not miss it all. And the Wicked Witch is ruining that. Wicked Witch is now jealous of Dorothy. That's pro Fate is a funny thing. Yeah, that's probably not what it means, right? Dorothy is meant to take my place, so that makes you the greatest evil. Aw. Uh-uh. I think that prophecy is actually right because she turns wicked, which is another way of saying evil. So that prophecy is probably true. She's the one who turns evil, and Dorothy's the one who takes her place, which won't be good. It's a little bit of a twist, though, because in the original Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch was already wicked. She wasn't playing nice when Dorothy first arrived. So she was the villain from the start in the actual movie and book. Glenda said it herself. There is no other way. Emma was the only one who could defeat her. I told you. Yeah, Glenda was specific. That's not the strongest magic. Dark magic isn't strong. Good magic is. Yeah, she broke the curse last episode. Remember last week? Uh huh. Now that you have a soulmate, Robin Hood, you know he's even encouraging you. Once upon a time, you were a villain, but now you changed. You're a hero, and defeating bad guys is what heroes do. Henry believes in you. Your future, uh, your future boyfriend believes in you. You can do it, Regina. So yeah, Emma can't do it because Hook kissed her. Emma kissed him. So it wasn't Hook. It was Emma because he was trying to save his life. So I mean, it's kind of sad. Emma lost her magic. I kind of knew that was going to happen. That's why I told you guys in a post. If Emma loses her magic by kissing Hook, then which is a weird way to lose your magic, but that's because the Wicked Witch kissed her Hook. Oh look, there's Dorothy defeating the witch after conjuring a fireball. The Wicked Witch melted. You defeated her. See, she wants to go back home to Kansas, so obviously she doesn't become the good witch of the West yet. But maybe in the future when she's all grown up. Remember, this is a flashback. She's probably all grown up in Storybrooke present day. Too bad we don't see her in Storybrooke. Down the yellow brick road, of course. Yep, and Glinda goes with her. That does not happen in the movie or book either. Glinda sends Dorothy off with her dog Dodo, and they go off on their own. And then they find the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion along the way. Once Upon a Time skips all those details. Let's just walk with Glinda. Happy ending. And you defeated the Wicked Witch before you even met the wizard. That does not happen. Dorothy usually meets the wizard first, then the wizard tells her to go get the Wicked Witch's broom, and you know. But that didn't happen either. You skip all those plot details too. She hasn't even met the wizard yet in Once Upon a Time. Crazy. There's her time travel spell. It's been enacted. Selena's moments away from time traveling. Let's see if the heroes stop her. Get the Dark One dagger so Rumple can be on your side. This is an interesting battle. Fly monkey, kill them! Don't kill the flying monkey. These could be people, guys. Regina, oh no! Regina, you're the only one left on defense. Hurry, see if you can defeat her. Not who she is. She's not evil anymore. Yeah. There's her light magic. Regina's using good magic for the first time. Not really, because that was the curse breaking. This is her second. Changing. Be good. Woo! Here. Oh boy. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Oh, she dropped the dagger. She dropped the dagger. She takes the necklace straight from her. Now she doesn't have powers anymore. She's useless. And the portal closes. No time travel. Not for this episode, at least. Whoa, right before killing him. You almost killed Robin Hood's merry men. Oh man, oh, wow, don't kill these monkeys. They might be humans. Now that she's lost her magic, all her spells are undone. Yep, he can handle anything. He didn't The baby's not hurt or injured. Kill her, including killing his son. Rumpel wants to get revenge. Today you are? You don't want to be a hero for good? Just today? That's not what she meant, but, so the yeah, the Wicked so Regina defeated the Wicked Witch. I was I knowing this plot twist, I tried to let you guys know that it wouldn't be Emma. It was Regina. Is that what your guess was? Especially since the season is focused on their sisterhood? Wizard of Oz is back. Yeah, there she went. She went back to Kansas. It wasn't the Wizard of Oz, it was the Wicked Witch in disguise. Yep, yeah, see, destroyed by water is such weird way to defeat a person. Once Upon a Time is smarter than the Wizard of Oz. Water doesn't kill people, it's just gets you wet. That's how Glinda got to the Enchanted Forest until Snow White and Charming crossed her path. Wicked Witch sent her there. That wraps up that flashback, and that's how she got her magic. She's proud of it. Too proud of it. Of course, Regina's joking on that because she mentioned she wasn't gonna kill her. But sometimes under certain circumstances, if the Wicked Witch never changes, she might change her mind. But she's good now. She'll never kill even her enemies. So I liked what Regina said. If she would have killed Snow White all those years ago and never had the chance to be good, she wouldn't be in this world. She wouldn't be with these people, and she wouldn't have her son Henry. So happy that she didn't get revenge, and she's glad that she changed it to be a hero instead. And because of that, she wants the Wicked Witch to have a chance to change. because she could get those same blessings as well if she chooses the right. But what if the Wicked Witch doesn't want it? That would be a mistake. Finally, Belle and Rumple could be reunited after he died. They haven't really had a chance to talk because he's been slaved by the Wicked Witch since this arc started. It's nice to see everyone happy and reunited again. You love him no matter how bad he was in the past. You're better than revenge, Rumple. Listen to Rumple. Listen to what Regina said. Even though you're so mad at her for killing your son, which is understandable, you're not gonna act upon your anger, right? You're gonna you're gonna focus on your love with Belle. Mhm. That's not a great way to. Rumple's like, "Will you marry me?" So Belle and Rumple are finally gonna get married after 3 seasons. Rumple and Belle are finally gonna get married, but is that how you should do a proposal? Where's the wedding rings? You just propose. You don't even go on one knee. You just propose, looking at each other, having a conversation, and you give her a knife. That's not a great way to propose to your wife. Here's a little knife for you. Will you marry me? That's the weirdest proposal I've ever seen in a show. You know? Then again, Rumple and Belle, they're a weird couple anyway. They'll do weird things, even weird proposals. Looks like Snow got her baby back. She's not gonna miss the first steps or first words this time. She did with Emma. Hopefully, she doesn't love the baby over Emma, though. Hopefully, she shares equal love. Now that the Wicked Witch is defeated, Emma's power should have returned. We won. We defeated the Wicked Witch. You had bad history. Emma doesn't believe she has her magic back. She doesn't need it in New York. Now that Wicked Witch is defeated, your power has returned. She goes, nope. just 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 because you don't want to stay in Storybrooke doesn't mean you should deny your magic, Emma. Unfortunately, Hook knows that, but she doesn't want to ruin he doesn't want to ruin this happy moment of a family being together. Snow White, Charming, Henry, Emma. What a nice family. You got mother, father, sister, brother, and son, and nephew. He's also the nephew of the newborn. It's weird. Imagine get older than your uncle. That doesn't usually happen. No one usually gets older than their uncles. Rumple, remember what Zelina said? Heroes don't kill. You're not gonna go back on your word with Belle, are ya? Belle doesn't have the dagger. Rumple tricked her. Tricked her through marriage. We're gonna see the wedding too in the next episode. Once Emma and Hook's time travel adventure is over. Follow the lady. Oh no. Belle has a fake. That's not a great way to start a marriage, Rumple. Belle will not be pleased when she finds out about this. You'll lose your wife, your fiance, I guess, because it's not your wife yet. Don't do it, Rumple. You promised your son his death would be avenged. I don't think he wants that. Even Neil's disappointed in you from the afterlife. There you go. There goes the Wicked Witch. Rumple just killed her. I bet you're wondering, wait, we still have one giant episode or 2 episodes long. We still have two technically episodes left of the season. How could the Wicked Witch be over? The Oz arc can't be done yet. Well, you're right. It's not quite done. But the Wicked Witch doesn't need to be alive for Emma to go back in time. See, look. See, this is the problem. This is why it's not over yet. Because even though the Wicked Witch is dead, her magic is still alive. And now that she's dead, her magic doesn't have a person to return to. So it just goes back. So it just creates a time portal to go back in time and find its owner, I guess. Well, the time portal has now been reopened and the episode is over. So okay, we're gonna start the season finale in a minute. But okay, so here's what I want us to do. Um, go ahead, push the next episode, episode 21, Snowdrifts, and then once it plays, pause it, rewind it, and for anyone who's watching this on Disney Plus, your timestamp should be 44 minutes and 9 seconds. So hopefully that's what it shows. We're gonna watch the recap on this episode, yes. So the previously, okay? So make sure you have 44 minutes and 9 seconds to stay in sync with me. Now, here's what I want us to do, okay? So remember that duplicate tab I told you to make on your other Disney Plus tab. Scroll down. Because we don't want to. We're done with episode 20. We're not going to watch it again. Push episode 22. We want to skip the recap. So I'll tell you where that's supposed to be. Previously on Once Upon a Time, right? We don't want that. We want this to be treated like one episode. Okay? So, okay. So what I need you to do, push episode 22, skip the recap, fast forward. I just did that, except I fast forward a little bit too much. So I went back one and watched the end of the recap and then paused it. Um, so go exactly to the end of the recap where it's pitch black. The last thing, if you play the recap, the last thing Regina says is going somewhere. I don't want to spoil the episode, or I'm not going to spoil part one that we're about to watch, but there's a line Regina says, going somewhere, and right after that, when it goes pitch black, I want you to pause it. Okay. So hopefully you've done that. The timestamp should be okay, we're gonna skip the recap, remember. So don't not skip the recap on 21. Not that one. But when we finish episode 21, we're skipping the recap. On episode 22, I want you to go, your timestamp should be 44 minutes and 53 seconds. If your timestamp does not say that, then you need to watch a little bit of the episode because we're not going to do the recap on episode 22. But I hate to spoil it because the recap involves listening to episode 21, and that's spoiling what's going on. So anyway, just try your best not to spoil yourself. Um, plug your ears, if you have to, but listen to Regina's line of of what's the line again? Um, going somewhere. You just gotta listen to that. Okay. Hopefully you've watched or fast forward through the recap. So on the episode 22 tab, 44 minutes and 53 seconds. Make sure that's what it says. Okay, I'm not going to remind you when we're done with 21. I just want us to start the episode right away. Okay. For episode 21, whoops. For episode 21, it should be 44 minutes and 9 seconds. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch this episode, but as soon as it goes to credits, I will probably do a countdown to help us out here. As soon as it goes to credits, I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, okay? And that means you have 3 seconds to quickly switch tabs and push play on your other one, okay? So if everyone has episodes 21 and 22 ready, we're going to push play, watch 21 first, but then jump right into 22. So it's like one episode, okay? I hate how streaming services separate these episodes, it's annoying. For Disney Plus, for DVD, not every episode was put together actually. Season 4 was. So, DVD wise, you just have to pause the episode for like 3 seconds, right? Um but season 3 finale was actually split on the DVD as well. When I went to look. So, season 4 and 5 though, on the other hand, the DVDs are combined. The episodes are combined. So when we get to those 2 seasons, you shouldn't have to worry about this, okay? You should just pause it for 3 seconds the next time this happens, right? Pause it for 3 seconds and then push play, and you should be on sync with us, okay? As soon as you see the Once Upon a Time title sequence, that's when you pause it, you know, and count to three. And well, I say 3, 2, 1 now, so count to four, okay? But that's not for this one because they do split the episodes on the DVD. So what I want you to do is pause my live stream. Pause my live stream until you've watched the credits of episode 21 or until you fast forward through them. And then right after you watch the recap on episode 22, when Regina says going somewhere, feel free to resume my live stream, okay? I hope all this instruction makes sense. We're going to start the episode now. So I hope you're not lost. I hope you're not confused. But this is our first 2-hour episode of Once Upon a Time, an hour and a half, technically. And so, anyway, expect more of these in the future from here on out. So, you know, sorry to make it complicated, but I want to watch it the way I want to watch it. Okay? Anyway, all right. Well, okay, we're gonna start watching the episode now. So, anyway, sorry for that long talk. Um, Looks like I have a few comments here. Hi, hello, ooh. All right. Okay. 3, 2. So on episode 21, not 22. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Now, watching the recap previously on Once Upon a Time. They defeated the Wicked Witch. Henry gets to meet his new uncle, who's younger than him. Rumpel kills her, and Zelina's magic opens the portal. So, what will you not need in New York? What are you talking about? The time sequence is a portal, time portal. It's Mickey Mouse. How cute. Next week is daylight savings time. I found that out. So we have an extra hour next Sunday before our live stream. That'll be interesting. I need to grab my charge cord. Sorry. Look at Emma as a teenager in the foster system, watching someone get adopted and no one adopts her. Must be sad not to have parents, huh, Emma? Well, you got them now. You may not have them when you were a child, but you got parents now. You don't have ones that raised you, but that's okay. Sometimes life is full of moments and you gotta enjoy them. Gotta be grateful for what you have. All right. Mhm. Mhm. Hmm. What is Snow's baby's name gonna be, huh? Who knows? And they're gonna do a potluck at Granny's. That'll be interesting. Too bad I couldn't go to that party. And Emma and Henry are trying to move out. Emma wants to just go back to New York. How funny. Regina and Robin Hood have a chance to fall in love now. It was only the beginning of the season that we found out Robin was going to be Regina's next soulmate. But we didn't know how they were going to meet back then because, Robin didn't get swept away from the first curse. And then little did we know Pam would cast another curse. And then Snow Charming would cast one back. So he came with the second curse. Now Regina and Robin can fall in love in Storybrooke. Mm-hmm. Yep, Robin and Regina have something in common. They both lost a love. Robin lost his wife. Regina lost her fiance. So they have something in common. They both been in love before. And now they're falling in love with each other. Things work out when they're supposed to. Just there's a reason why Regina didn't walk in that bar back when Tinkerbell showed her the man she was supposed to fall in love with. There was a reason for that, and it's nice when things work out when they're supposed to work out, not when they want to work out. Because at first, Regina and Robin Hood did not get along in the Enchanted Forest, but now they do. Storybrooke. They're much more likable to each other here. Your wedding. Mhm. I don't think it's a good marriage, Belle. Only you knew what your Rumple did. So Rumple, who has a grudge against Belle's father, has finally forgiven him, and I mean, Rumple's father finally forgives him Rumple, despite their grudge they had in the past. Oh, yeah. So Sleeping Beauty also gave birth to her child, 'cause she was pregnant. We found that out in season 3 as well when they were in Neverland. Aurora, if she would have given that baby a day sooner before the curse was broken, or before the Wicked Witch was defeated, she would have had a monkey baby. You wouldn't wanna change those diapers is a funny joke. They're explaining how Snow and Charming fell in love, just like how Lorraine explained how she fell in love with George at the McFly dinner table. Yep, I remember this flashback. Remember in season 1? Yeah. Why didn't you fall in love with, the daughter of a king who turns everything into gold? And that's because he didn't love her. He wanted to go after his true love. Uh-oh, secret's out, Emma. You don't wanna tell everyone that she was leaving to go back to New York. Oh, charming. I don't know what he was gonna say there, but it was something bad. Charming, thank goodness you changed what you were gonna say. Zelina's time portal. It's opened. It's opened. It's opened. I know. It's opened. Portal. How's it opened? Mm. Rumple, you're about to get caught. This is not good. Yeah, that's what Doc Brown says to Marty all the time. A trip to the past can cause catastrophic events. But Emma didn't know this. She wasn't at the party when the portal opened. Oh, this is not good. Yeah, if Emma goes back to New York, she's leaving her family behind. That's not good. Safety first nonsense is just that. Exactly. You didn't really defeat Pan. I think Rumple did. I mean, you broke the first curse, Emma, not the second curse. Hook has to correct his lines here a little bit. He didn't defeat the Wicked Witch. Regina did. Emma just feels left out because she wasn't a fairy tale character. She grew up in the real world, so she doesn't feel like she belongs here. Well, once she takes a trip to the past, that'll change. She'll be a fairy tale character at last. Where'd you get that from, Emma? Home is a place. When you leave, you just miss it. Home is not a place. They said not to go near that. Guys! Emma and Hook missed out on the latest details. The Wicked Witch's death or something. And yeah, as Regina said, when Regina died, I was saying this in the last episode, the Wicked Witch's powers had no human to tether through, so it just opened the portal again. Oh, there goes Emma and Hook getting pulled into the portal. Oh, Emma left her phone behind us. Charmy's trying to call her. Oh no! There goes Emma! And then there, yeah, one of these days you gotta start facing your true love, Hook. And Hook goes in there too. There goes Emma and Hook to the past. Hook and Emma's relationship is a little complicated because they've had some ups and downs this season. They haven't really had a good kissing moment or anything, so their love is just blooming. Yeah, we're in the Enchant Forest, but when are we? Look, it looks like there's some point in time when Regina wants to kill Snow White. Do you remember when they used to have magic beans and to go to certain realms like Neverland and Oz, you had to think of the place you wanted to go and then the portal would take you there? That's how time travel works too. That's how time travel works. You think of when you want to go and that's where you time travel back in time. They were reading the story of how Snow and Charming fell in love at Granny's, and that's what Emma was thinking about when she fell in the portal. He's a teenager who plays rock and roll. See, I told you they'd do a Back to the Future reference. That's my favorite part of this episode is who do I look like? Marty McFly? And Hook's like, who? The kid with the DeLorean and the lightning bolt. And they go back in time and then And then Hook's like, "Is Marty some sort of wizard?" No, Marty McFly's not a wizard. He's a maybe a wizard is exactly what we need. Rumpelstiltskin. You know, when Marty went to the past, he needed a wizard, and that was Doc Brown. He was the one who invented the time machine, which means he was the one who could get. He was the only one who could get him back. Rumple is the only one smart enough to get Emma and Hook back to the present and back to the future. Good Back to the Future reference, by the way. This is our Back to the Future episode. It's just getting started. That's not Regina. That's the evil queen. There's Pinocchio. Yeah, the sooner you find Rumple, better. You don't want to be stuck in the past for too long. There's one thing we need to do first. We got to blend in. We can't look like some weird people wearing the real world clothes in the fairy tale land. Shirts and ties do not exist. Pants and shirts do not exist. Regina is gonna remember a face from 30 years ago. I mean, Lorraine and George didn't remember Marty in the past. You know, people sometimes say, wouldn't George recognize his own son from the from when he was in high school? No, because that was only 1 week. No, I don't even just 7 years later since I graduated high school. I don't know anyone I only met for 1 week in high school. I only remember the friends I was with the entire 3 years I was in high school. So Emma has to keep her cover so that people don't suddenly remember her, but still, I don't think that's gonna affect much. Snow White cutting down a tree. Wonder what that means. Hmm. Wow. We haven't seen this flashback since season 1. You know how Snow and Charming met? That was in season 1. Hmm. My father. It's funny. Snow White and Charming, this is how they meet. Except Emma kinda scared Snow White and knocked her off the tree. Now he can't steal Charming's purse. Oh well. Mhm. That's not what happened the first time. Snow White stole his wallet, and then Charming went right after her. Mhm. I mean, don't get mad at Emma. She wasn't trying to change the past. She was listening to you, Hook. She was only just watching and ended up breaking a branch. It's funny how butterfly effects work in this show. All you have to do is make one tiny mistake, one branch noise, break it off, and it ruins everything. A little more bigger than the pawn shop, Emma says. Yes, and no. Probably way better than the pawn shop. Having a castle is way better. What? Doc didn't believe Marty at first either. Rumple doesn't believe them. Mm. Why didn't Rumple kill Hook? Because just because they don't hate each other anymore. What? You fall for the bell. Yep, that's true. Except, remember what happened to Marty's siblings when he changed the past? They started disappearing. Same thing with the pages of Henry's book. Is a blank page. Hmm. Yeah, we don't even know where Snow is. Huh. You made that mistake, huh? Emma's the only one who knows how to get her parents back together. She's the one who made that mistake. She has to fix it. Hmm. Who? You're gonna get help from other Captain Hook. What happens when you see yourself though? Doesn't that make you pass out or cause the ripple effect that destroys the space-time continuum? They don't see each other. So they're gonna get help from other Hook. I'm sorry, I'm looking for my phone. You're trying Hook, you're messing up with your words. I, he. It is you, but not you. He's the younger version of you. Time travel gets so confused. Emma takes off her hood of disguise get to get younger Hook occupied. Where is my phone? This is insane. I literally said it over here earlier. Mhm. They're planning to get young Hook distracted so that um older Hook can get Snow to steal that ring instead of secretly getting on passage to his ship. Hmm. Confession. I have no idea where my phone went. It was here when we started. Hmm. My headphones can't stay. He doesn't care about money. He cares about treasure. Okay, I give up. I can't find it. It was here when we started the live stream. I set it next to my laptop. It's now not there. It's like someone stole it. I don't understand. Hmm. 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 Well, they did help, Snow go still the ring. Now they have to make sure she succeeds in doing it, and that's by going to the party. Take the invitation that Rumple's giving you. They look different in the they look different in the mirror. That will help them from making a lasting impression in the future. Leia from, like, Star Wars? I don't know what Charles is from. You get to have a first princess ball, Emma. Oh. Hmm. Climb the wall. Break into the castle, Snow. Steal that ring so we can put your story back on track and make you fall in love, like George standing up to Biff. Though originally George never stood up to Biff. He got ran over by the car, and that's what Lorraine made him fall in love. That's what made Lorraine fall in love with him. And so by making Snow steal that ring, it's like making sure George gets hit by another car by Lorraine's house. Not quite the same. But how they're doing it is different. So I guess it is like George standing up to Biff because you know, because the flashback has definitely changed, even though they're putting it back on track. This is not what happened originally. She stole the wing from the carriage, not the castle. Oh, it's nice. This is not every flashback we get to see twice. This is we get to see Snow and Charming's love story twice. Mhm. I was not part of the plan. That's like obstacles that happen in Back to the Future that make it harder for Marty to get his parents to fall in love. Well, Snow White is still in the wedding ring, so that's a good sign. But she got caught red-handed by Charming. Run! She doesn't have a rock. She uses the toolbox to knock him out. What a great substitute. Uh-oh. Hmm. That's what happened the first time. He said, "You can't run from me. Wherever you are, I will find you." Everything's back on track for now. Don't shoot Snow White! You saved her. Good job. I want the Black Knights to shoot her. Mhm. Uh-oh. Well, apparently she didn't have the ring after all. She left it behind. Emma has it. That's not good. It's different now. She's not Regina in the past, Emma. You're living in the future. Yep. Well, Emma, that's bad luck for you. Regina's throwing you in prison. How unfortunate. Hook's watching from behind. Dang it. Now he has to figure out how to save Emma. Oh, we're watching the next episode. Sorry. Okay, three, two, one, now. Okay, no, previously, okay? All right. So, yes. So, anyway, I almost forgot we were jumping right into the next episode. Um, as I was saying, Emma and Hook, um, Hook is watching from a distance. Now he has to save Emma from jail, figure out how to get Emma out of there, and give the ring back to Snow White. So yeah, we still got problems to fix. But now, in the first part, we got a flashback of orphan Emma, and, watching someone else get adopted makes her wish she had a home of her own. And now we're watching a special moment between Emma and Neil. This is back when Emma and Neil were on the run, stealing from convenience stores and stuff before August separated them. Bellfire. Wow, we haven't seen him since his death. Nice flashback. I told you characters can come back in flashbacks because flashbacks happened before the present. So, we get to see what happened before his death. It's pretty nice. That's what Emma said. When you have a home and you leave it, you just miss it. But that's no reason to go back to New York, Emma. I don't think Neil would want you to. I don't think Neil would want you to leave your parents like he left his. His was a different circumstance because Rumpel chose power over love. But I bet Neil, if he was alive today, he would tell you not to leave and go back to New York. I mean, Snow White is innocent. You weren't wrong, girl. And now we know how that girl died. She saw her in the village, remember? And Emma wanted to help, and she couldn't. Nope, time portal again. See, it's the same title sequence, so it's the same episode. I hope everyone who had the DVD paused their live stream. We should. Hopefully, we're all still synced. Um, There we go. Snow White got trapped in a net. That's what happened the first time. We're kind of going back on track. The only difference is last time Charmina had the ring, and this, or no, Snow White had the ring, and this time she doesn't. So we still got to put their story back on track. They're having the same conversation they had last time. Two women robbed you. Emma didn't rob you, Charming. She picked up the ring Snow dropped. I guess she went to jail before she had a chance to give it back to you. So that's new. She only made a deal with Charming to get his ring back. This time she's making a deal to get Hook's princess and Charming's ring. Double the deal to make the flashback more interesting. Originally they were walking in the woods. Now they're just enjoying a wagon ride. That's a little different. I know it feels like we've seen this before, guys, but it's a little different because Emma and Hook changed the past, so that's what makes it interesting. Did you ruin her life? You did? Okay. They never had to sneak in Regina's castle before. That's not what happened the first time. They had to go to a bridge of trolls to get the ring back originally, because that's where she sold them to, but in this one, Emma has the ring, not the trolls, and they have to go to the queen's castle to get it. That's what's this flashback. This story's a little more enjoyable than the last one, though, and it takes 2 episodes to explain it. So I prefer this story over the other one. That's kinda funny. Hook's trying to keep a low profile, but he's, like, saying, "I hope Charming remembers that," because Charming's the one saying that, "You love Princess Leia, their parents her parents would be crazy not to accept you, into the family." And so, and Charming has a hard time accepting Hook into the family. And so, remember, even in Neverland, he didn't want him close to his daughter. And so anyway, hopefully Charming remembers that, so then that way he's more open to letting Hook be with Emma and dating her. So this is the episode that now that Neil's dead and out of the picture, they're making space so that Emma and Hook can blossom. And this is the episode that confirms their relationship. So start shipping Emma, Captain Swan. Start shipping Emma and Hook from here on out. Neil's past terms, okay? We're moving on to the Hook and Emma love story now. Have hope. Don't forget, don't give up. Don't lose hope. You'll get out of this jail alive. You're not going to die in the morning. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, so this girl that Emma's in jail next to, um, her family already thinks she's dead. Her family already thinks she's dead, and that will be true if they don't escape their execution. Oh, get out! Emma thinks second. Emma thinks twice about freeing her, and Emma, you don't want to change the past. Just let her think you can't free her so that you can just escape without her. You don't want to keep her. Yeah, I know you don't want to keep her in prison, but you gotta leave things according to the way they were. Oh, these are not damsels in distress. They can take care of themselves. You leave these women alone, Hook. They can save themselves. You don't need to be the hero in rescuing her. Yeah, Charming's like, luckily he didn't hear their conversation about killing her, killing the girl next to Emma's jail cell. But but um, but he's like, I'm sorry for interrupting this reunion, but we gotta find Snow White. We can't just sit here and talk. Talk later. Oh, Snow White sneaking up on the evil queen. you, she can't kill. She's not a murderer. She won't do it. You wasted the dark magic. And that's what she originally used to defeat the trolls. Now that she doesn't have that, I don't know how they're going to put their story back on track. I actually do, but for the sake of new viewers watching, you probably don't know. They're recapping the Daniel thing. She was only 10. She didn't mean to tell a secret, but Regina's like, all actions have consequences, and then it's not accepts her death. Oh no, that's so sad. Don't kill Snow White. No! No, wow, we just witnessed Neil's death. We don't need to kill another main character. Snow White's been here since season 1. There goes Snow White, burning to death. Oh, she's gone. But don't be sad and don't look away because guess what? If Snow White really died, Emma would fade from existence. Remember? Like Marty almost did when his parents wouldn't get back together. So if Emma didn't disappear, then she has to be alive. You should fade from existence. Luckily, she told Charming about that dust. Otherwise, Charming wouldn't even know, and they would end up killing the bug, and then Emma would really fade from existence. See? Now I know Snow White's hands were tied, so she couldn't throw the dust on herself. But if she timed it right and threw the dust on herself early, then she could escape that fireball, fake her death, and flew away. Fly away. Blue Fairy knows that Emma and Hook are from the future, and he's like, "Your secrets can be yours. They're better that way, because we don't want to change the past." Snow White's back and alive. Emma's relief. Phew! I still have my mother around in the present. Good thing too, because Emma's not born yet. If we were born, the curse would have been cast. So she would have actually been from existence. Ugh. Actually, I don't know if Regina would have even casted her curse because she only did that to get revenge, and by killing Snow White, she would have had her revenge already. She wouldn't cast the curse. It would be a whole different future if Snow actually died. At least their story's back on track. Snow and Charming's story. Now we just got to. Now, before we can go back to the future, we have another problem to deal with. It's not just getting Emma's parents back together, but the girl she saved from the prison cell. The first time she tried to fill up to fill up Charming's water, she tricked him just to escape. But this time it's different because Charming already has his ring back. He doesn't need snow. Wow. So they're now that they have to deal with this prison girl whose life they saved, they have to either kill her or take her to the future because if she stays around, she could end up having a child that turns into a cold-blooded murderer, or she could kill one of the doors by accident. Trying to just naming scenarios that probably wouldn't happen, but yeah. We're kidnapping you. Oh, great cover up. Charming kind of found you and Hook suspicious. She's like, "What happened to her? She's passing it, and she's asleep. Don't lie, don't lie, but lie, because you don't want Charming to know you knocked her out. That's not good." Yeah, remember she's already used that to fake her death, and she already wasted some on Regina, so she doesn't have any dust left. She doesn't have any dust left to kill the trolls with, unfortunately. So yeah, as much as you tried to put their story back on track, now you have other issues. You have other problems due to the mistakes you made earlier. So it's not over yet. Come on, guys! Before he'll kill you. Fortunately, they're not fighting to get the ring back. They're they're just trying to pass through to get back home. Trying to get back to his castle, so to get back on the run. Nope, Charming's not following you, Snow. Unfortunately, she doesn't have the dust to defeat the trolls. Look, her jar is empty. What's her plan gonna be, right? Mhm. Watch out! Okay, she still stopped the trolls from killing Charming. That's what happened the first time. Charming's, like, confused. He's like, "You still have dust?" He got confused. Hmm, funny. Last time this happened, you were getting Charming's wallet back, and in return, the trolls paid you. This time, you're not taking anything from the trolls, they're just paying you for no reason. For probably saving their life. Originally, she killed the trolls with that dust, but now that she doesn't have dust, she just threatened them. The trolls are still alive now in this timeline. Oh, they made it to Storybrooke. They might be under the toll bridge is what it's called in Storybrooke, not the troll. Toll bridge. I wonder if it's under that. As you can see, it wasn't fairy dust. Snow was using sand, and trolls are not smart enough to or clever enough to realize that it's sand, so they just believed her when she had the dust. She lied to save Charming's life. Come on, let's go before they come back and start killing us again, or before they find out that, you know, that it wasn't dust. Hey, this is what happened the first time. Mhm. Charming say so even though Charming already had his wallet, Snow White took it with her to go fill up his canteen container, so that's why she's giving it back to him. Not everyone gets a chance to watch their parents fall in love. Yeah. This is what happened the first time. So we're good, we're good. Story's back on track. We didn't even take any other unlike the dust, we didn't take anything else that prevents further events, so we should be good. She's not Snow's not missing anything, Charming's not missing anything, we're good. That's how it happened the first time. Hook's still not convinced that they fixed the past. Emma knows this is how it happened the first time, but Hook doesn't. Emma's trying to prove it to him. "Look, pictures are back, we're good." Yeah. That okay, now Hook believes. Now they can go home. Of course, Regina needs to find out Snow's alive to keep things on track. She knows Snow faked her death. That's it's she's supposed to know that because she wouldn't cast the curse if she thought she was dead. So that's resolved too. If it wasn't, they would have another mistake to fix, which is easy. You just go to the proof castle and tell you the queen she's alive. This way you won't get a death sentence. Luckily, Emma and Hook don't have to do that though. Regina found out on her own that Snow and Charming are alive. Everything's fixed. We can go back to the present. I can't believe this time travel episode's coming to an end, guys. The only way to protect it is to forget. Rumpel needs to forget about his future because Emma told him too much. So that's one more thing we have to do. But fortunately, Rumpel cannot open the time portal. Hmm. Rumpel cannot reopen the time portal, unfortunately. And Rumpel's unwilling to help because he can't reopen the portal, so he just sends Emma and Hook to a place where they can't interfere with the events of time travel or events of the past. which is evil on his part, but also smart, so that we don't mess anything else up while we're trying to figure this out. Looks like the glamour spell weared off. Now they look like them. Now they look like themselves again. They don't look like somebody else. Hey, there's probably a magical creature in there. You should let her out. You should let it out. Let it out. I didn't specify gender. Excuse me. You should let it out. Yeah. Just kidding. Can mess up events too. When Zelina died, all your power should have been restored, Emma. Emma doesn't want to go to New York anymore? Watching your mother died is what changed your mind. Storybrooke is your home, so don't leave it. She changed her mind as soon as Snow White faked her death. Thinking she was dead made her realize she didn't want to leave her mother. She's already spent 28 years without her. She didn't want to spend more time without her. An additional 1 year without her, too. Huh. Remember that time when they were in the Echo Cave and they had to share secrets? The secret of changing her mind is what caused the portal to reopen. Being able to recognize that Henry didn't just bring her back to break a curse, that he was bringing her home. And Neil was right. Home is a place. Once you leave, you miss it. And she did miss being with her parents. So, last little message from Neil beyond the grave. We're gonna really miss him, especially when we don't get a lot of flashbacks in season 4. We're gonna miss Neil. So. Emma's spilling the secret to Rumpelstiltskin that his son does die in the future. Now Rumpel wants to go to the future with them and save his boy. Rumpel, make the right choice. Drink the potion. You're an evil dark one right now, but because this is the past, it can change. But drink the potion. Okay. Rumpel stopped Emma from going to the time portal at first, but then he let her jump through the portal just before it closed. Portals don't stay open long, so good thing she went in before the portal closed. Phew. Mm-hmm. Rumpel drank the potion. He made the right choice and doesn't remember what he was doing there. So good. Everything's back on track. He thought too much about his son and wanted to save him from dying. Luckily, he didn't go through with that. And luckily, he doesn't remember Emma and Hook's time in the past because that would have catastrophic consequences. With Rumpel drinking the forgetting potion, everything should be back to normal. Everyone's back in the present, and there's our little woman from the jail cell. But who was she before the evil queen captured her? That's gonna be an interesting mystery. Emma's going back because she hasn't seen her parents for the entire hour and a half. She's happy to be back together with her parents. The entire 2 episodes she's been time traveling. Same with Marty when he came back to the future. He ran straight back home and as you know, and he was happy to see his new family and the changes he made to them to make them look better. Emma didn't come from a horrible present like Marty did with George being bullied and Lorraine drinking alcohol and being drunk, you know? And then when he goes back to the future, Lorraine's not an alcoholic and George has the confidence to stand up against Beth. Not much changes in Once Upon a Time's version of Back to the Future, other than making Emma a fairy tale character and making Snow and Charming's love story a little more yes. Emma revealed to Snow and Charming and the whole family that he's from the I mean that no, that she went to the past and became Princess Leia. Sorry. Charming is about to announce the name of their baby to everyone at Granny's. Aw, Rumble was there to hear that too. Prince Neil. Does Rumple approve of this? Or is he offended that they named him after his son? How feel. They could have went with Bellfire. They didn't have to name him Neil. But Bellfire is an uncommon name here, so Neil's probably better. Aw. Named after Emma's true love. It's not meant to replace Henry's father. It's not meant to replace her ex-husband. It's meant to honor him, honor his death by naming him Neil. Now she has a brother named Neil. She has a Neil in her life again. Baby brother. Rumpelstiltskin's right. He's in the book. Yep. Yep. If Hook would have remembered the person he kissed 30 years ago, it would have changed the past. But because he got passed out, he pretty much blamed the rum. Everything's back to normal. That's good. Mhm. One piece of the puzzle we didn't get is how Hook was able to escape the curse. Since we don't get a flashback, listen to this conversation. Emma's really in love with him now. So what happened was that Hook heard about the curse in advance that Snow White and Charming were casting. Since there's no flashback on this, I'm just recapping. You know, he got his crew into the Jolly Roger and sailed as fast as he could until he was outside of the curse's boundaries. Curse doesn't cover the entire land of fairy tale. So anyway, he left before the curse was even cast, and once he was outside of the curse's once he was outside of the curse's location, we knew that the wall that was preventing everyone from going to different realms was down, and know, he could travel between realms again. Wants to know when Charming cast the curse to bring everyone back to Storybrooke. But he needed to get a magic bean. And he traded it. He traded with Blackbeard because magic beans are rare to come by. And in a later conversation, at some point in the series, he mentions to get it from Blackbeard. So he trades the magic bean from Blackbeard. It's not really a spoiler. It's nothing convenient to the plot. Anyway, he steals it. He steals it. He gets a magic. He makes a deal with Blackbeard, gets the magic bean, and then goes to New York to get Emma. That's how everything got solved. Oh, Rumpel and Bella are doing their wedding vows. Sorry, I was talking so Belle has lost Rumpel through weakness, through darkness, and finally death. But she didn't spend her life losing him. She spent her life finding him multiple times, and they always ended back together. After losing Rumpel's son, Rumpel had walls up, and Snow White, I mean Belle, I can't say my words right today. Belle put those walls down. Mhm. Rumpel's saying that he will not forget the distance between what he was and what he is now. But I don't know about that because he killed the Wicked Witch behind Belle's back. When she finds out, it's gonna be a sad breakup. Their wedding is actually short-lived because of his bad decisions he's been making. Lying about the Wicked Witch, giving Belle a fake dagger. Mhm. Best tip is Chip, like Chip from Beauty and the Beast, because that's what started their love in the first place. Was the cup. Anyway, you may kiss the bride. Archie doesn't even say that. He doesn't even say the thing where every fairy tale goes like, "Belle, do you take this person to love you for all eternity? Rumple, do you take this person to love you?" They don't do the whole wedding. They just kiss right after the vows. Yeah, that wedding's a little different than most weddings on movies. Rumple and Regina, I mean, Regina and Robin Hood are also making out too. Everyone has a true love in this season. But anyway, Belle did bring those walls down that Rumple was hiding because of the loss of Bellfire, and Belle brought hope to his life and love, but I think Rumple's taking that for granted when he lies about the Wicked Witch and the dagger. This is the girl. We're gonna find out who she is. It's gonna be a shocker. We've seen her in a flashback before, so you might know if you remember that flashback from season 2. You brought someone back from the past. Regina. I don't think this is a great idea, Emma. Regina is understandable if she calls her evil, but when we find out who she is, Regina's going to be a little disappointed. Marion, Robin's first wife. That's what's disappointing. That must be hurtful. Emma didn't mean to do this. That's what keeps the show going. Anytime there's a happy ending, something else happens to keep the show going. There's a season 4. This is People also thought this was going to be the series finale because ratings started to drop bad from this point on. But no, it got renewed. We have way more seasons to go. So when you thought this was happily ever after, we're not done. And I told you in the final minutes, find out where we're going to next. We've been to Neverland, Oz, Wonderland. Where are we going next, guys? We're gonna find out right now. Okay, I know Regina was swearing really bad here, but she is upset about Emma about what she did. Just like your mother, never thinking of consequences, telling a secret. Emma didn't tell a secret though. She brought Robin's wife back, which is worse than Snow White telling a secret. Now is Regina gonna turn evil again because of this? I don't know. Let's hope she doesn't turn evil again. She's come so far. Yes, so Robin's wife's back, which makes things complicated. Regina and Robin can't be together. Yes, happy ending is destroyed once again. But at least Cora didn't kill Robin Hood. At least Robin Hood's not dead like that. Now we're gonna find out. One of the bottles that was in the Rumpel's palace came to the portal, came through the portal with Emma and Hook. We're gonna find out who was in that bottle. I was hinting at it earlier when I said she. That you should let that girl out. You should let that magical creature out of the bottle. Our magical creature, blue dress, blonde hair, and watch out, here it comes. Ice powers. If you guessed right, you're right. Elsa, Anna, Kristoff, Sven, Olaf, Frozen's coming to Once Upon a Time. All right, credits. Well, that was a finale. All right. Well, it's 9:20. We wasted 5 minutes. Don't know how we did that. We did talk. I talked very long, explaining how this 2-hour finale was going to work. So maybe that was it. I didn't realize we. I realized we did start at 7:53 instead of 7:45. And we also started at 7:05, so that makes sense. The first episode ended at 7:50, but we wasted 3 minutes before starting this 2-hour finale. Alright, at least we didn't talk in between part 1 and part 2 though, right? I wanted to say this before. I was saying before this was gonna be 1 episode entirely, we weren't gonna stop in between, so that was good. At least that gives us 10 minutes instead of, like, 5. Anyway, alright, I'll be answering Q&A questions now. Just give me a second. I'm gonna turn off my Disney Plus. Um, no questions for Facebook. Okay, okay. Just a couple hellos and highs on YouTube. Um, you know, I guess I can say hi back. It wasn't really a question though. So that was a good finale, right? It was a long finale, 2 episodes long. So to recap, we spent our last Wicked Witch Good versus Evil episode, Um, Snow White gave birth to her baby, and with the curse broken, we were able to know how to defeat the Wicked Witch was with Emma's savior magic. Unfortunately, Emma kissed Hook to save his life, and because he was drowning, and that lost her magic. But we had a backup plan. Regina, she broke the curse and defeated the Wicked Witch. She has light magic. She became good, right? Fortunately, Rumpel was still mad that Wicked Witch was part of killing his son Bellfire. So Rumpel couldn't be good on his promises. His redemption arc went down the toilet after he killed Peter Pan, and so he decided to go behind everyone's back, kill the Wicked Witch, give Belle a fake dagger. He's making wrong choices, and this is where Rumpel's character goes spiraling, and you're probably not going to like it as much because his redemption arc was perfect in season 3, and now they're just messing it all up because the actor who plays him, Robert Carlyle, they loved his acting so much that ABC couldn't let him go on the show, and the writers were forced to keep him around. And my suggestion in that scenario would have been just keep him in flashbacks, But keeping him around, they didn't think about that, and they were like, okay, we have to bring him back in present day. So what are we gonna do? His death was not even his death was wasted, because they brought him back. Now, in return, Bellfire had to die, and luckily they're not bringing his death back. That was probably a good thing on them. We don't want them to ruin his character arc. Bellfire had a perfect character arc, so at least but nothing's worth the loss of a child, right? So for Rumpel to lose a child, that hurts. Probably worse than probably worse than Bellfire losing a father. So, I mean, I think to make it more emotional, I think that was good, but we didn't need to bring Rumpel back to do it. Honestly, you know. So yes, you're not gonna probably like Rumpel here on out. His character is probably gonna be boring to you. It's probably gonna be a waste of time. It's probably gonna give you a headache. Because even now that he's evil again, Rumpel's gonna get another redemption arc that gets thrown down the toilet in season 5, and then he's gonna be good again, but it gets thrown down the toilet in season 6. So anyway, you know, his character arc is actually not interesting to see going forward, but everyone else is. So I hope you're still willing to stick through his bad character arc while we watch everyone else's good character arcs, because it's just one out of 5, 6 characters in the show. So I mean, everyone has a true love. Rumpel marries Belle. and then they're not married, but we have Regina and Robin Hood, and then Emma and Hook, and then Snow and Charming. All the main six characters. The only person who doesn't have a crush is Henry. And so, anyway. So yes, that wraps up season 3. It took us forever to finish this season because, we started this season at the beginning of August. So it took us 3 months, and now we're going to start season 4 at the beginning of November. Seasons don't take 3 months. Season 1 only took April and May. Season 2, June and July. Season 3, August, September, October. Now, the reason why for that is after we did half of the season in August, we spent all of September watching a different TV show, Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. It's the only spin-off. So as we're watching season 4, there is, I'm not trying to spoil too much, but there is another time jump, okay, in the middle of season 4. It's two, you remember I told you, starting from season 3, every season is 2 seasons. Like, not really 2 seasons, but, half and half. You have the first half arc and the second half arc, remember? Remember how season 1, it was all about breaking the curse, and then season 2 was a little all over the place, and then season 3 had it half-season arcs, We had Neverland and Oz. Wonderland was its own separate show, but it was treated like a half-season arc because it was only 13 episodes, and we got through it in 4 weeks, just like the 11-episode arcs. So anyway, so it was kind of like an arc, but it was its own separate TV show. It's season 1, only 13 episodes. But anyway, but half and half, and then after Oz, we're going to Frozen. Anyway, I didn't want to spoil that before because I wanted to keep it a surprise. At the end of the Neverland arc, we didn't even get a hint that it was Oz. I had to be quiet until our first Oz week. But now, and I don't need to be quiet because you literally saw Elsa come out of the bottle. Like, literally, it's Elsa. There's no doubt about it. The only other fairy tale out there that has ice powers is the Snow Queen, which is what Frozen is based off of. But in the Snow Queen fairy tale, Snow Queen actually plays a villain. In Frozen they changed it to where Elsa was a good guy, and they made Hans a villain. So anyway, they changed it. Originally, Elsa was going to be a villain, but then they changed the script because it just didn't work well. But anyway, in the original fairy tale of the Snow Queen, Snow Queen's evil. But anyway, since Frozen is still based on the same fairy tale, just, she's not evil, right? It's, there's no other way you could put it. It's Frozen. And it's actually Frozen. I know Once Upon a Time has their own fairy tale logic, and they don't always take in Disney characters, They do, they've been focused on fairy tales because Disney hasn't made a movie about Rumpelstiltskin, for example. And so anyway, that's just a fairy tale, not a Disney movie, So yes, I know what you're thinking. It's probably the Snow. No, it's not. It's not. In fact, they did funny thing. When this finale aired on TV, they teased that Elsa was going to be evil, and we had to wait the entire summer, obviously, and the season wouldn't start until the fall. For the whole season, I remember my sister saying, if if I watch the first episode and Elsa's actually evil, I'm not watching the show anymore. That's what Michaela said. I mean, my sister. Back. Anyway, that's what she said back in the day. So people did not like the idea of her going evil. Luckily, they tuned in for the premiere and found out she wasn't evil. So I don't mean to spoil this to you. If you want to experience this the way that the audience did, I'm sorry I have to ruin it, but Elsa's not being evil, okay? Okay? Because I know you'd probably hate to think that. Yes, Frozen is coming, though. It's not the Snow Queen, not the fairy tale Snow Queen. An actual Disney property is coming. So the reason why for this is because lately, Once Upon a Time's been doing their own versions of Snow White, Little Mermaid, and all that stuff. They weren't really going by the Disney version. And Frozen just came out during season 3, during the Neverland arc, and then and they were already when Frozen came out in theaters, they already started filming for the Oz arc in the spring, so they couldn't put Elsa in season 3B. They couldn't put her in the second half of season 3. But they wanted to see if they could do Frozen for season 4 because Elsa, like Emma, has powers. And we haven't seen Emma where she couldn't control her powers, but we will get to see that in season 4. And what better character can relate to her than Elsa, right? Where in season 4, Emma's gonna have problem. I don't want to spoil too much, but Emma has gonna have problems with her magic, and
The last time we saw this happen was in a Disney movie. Elsa couldn't control her magic. Hopefully you've seen Frozen, otherwise spoiler alert. Elsa in the movie couldn't control her magic, right? And so it took her a whole movie to find out how to control her magic. She kept freezing things around her. You know, Luckily she learned how to control her magic, and Once Upon a Time takes place after the events of the movie, even in flashbacks. So don't worry about this ruining your childhood or ruining the movie you love. Okay, for anyone who loves Frozen out there, Once Upon a Time doesn't ruin the franchise. It did come out before Frozen 2, so it does ruin the events of Frozen 2. It takes place right after Frozen, but it doesn't. But like, but not. It does. Frozen 2 doesn't exist. This is Once Upon a Time's own version of Frozen 2. I would say it takes place before Frozen 2, but there's actually a bunch of things that contradict Frozen 2 from even happening in this universe. So anyway, it does ruin the sequel for you, but it doesn't ruin the first movie. They keep the events of the first movie. This just takes place after that. And so anyway, yes, Frozen's coming to Once Upon a Time. They wanted to bring Frozen to season 4. So when they talked to Disney about it, Disney gave them permission to bring the Frozen property into Once Upon a Time. And once they had that permission from Disney, that's what they went with. So I know it sounds weird to see Frozen on the show. I know that's kind of weird for a show like this that's about modern fairy tales and not its own version of modern fairy tales and not Disney's version of modern fairy tales. They've been focusing on a lot of old fairy tales lately. It's kind of weird to see new ones on here, but I hope you stick with me as we continue the show. It's just a half a season. Elsa and Anna are not going to be on the show forever. We did see Tinkerbell make a few appearances in the Ozark, but anyway, no. Elsa and Anna don't stay around in Storybrooke after the first half of the season. So, man, I'm keep giving you hints and spoilers. I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop that. But yes, Frozen is only gonna be here for a half a season. So, don't worry, relax. We'll get through this Frozen arc together. I actually like it. I don't know why there's so many people out there who don't, because I don't have anything against it. People who watched it back then actually liked it too. The new viewers it's funny. This is the one time ratings were dipping in season 3 really bad that the show could have got canceled, but this was the one time ratings actually went up because no one's seen a live action Frozen before. I know Disney live actions suck, but when this season came out, Disney live actions just barely started. They didn't have very many live actions. They just came out with Maleficent, and Cinderella was going to come out the following year. And so anyway, with only Cinderella and Maleficent and Alice in Wonderland being the only live actions, people didn't yet hate Disney remakes, and they were excited to see what Once Upon a Time was going to bring to a live action Frozen. Hopefully Disney doesn't make a remake for Frozen remake, but Once Upon a Time did good at doing their own spin on it, and in my opinion, and the live action's pretty good too. I know. Okay, we are out of time. We got to wrap up, but I'm just gonna say, Frozen is coming to Once Upon a Time, and don't worry, it's good. You might have your own opinion, and you might think it's weird and not, but people who watched it back then actually thought it was great, and they tuned in for the whole half of the season. The ratings went up a lot, almost as high as season 1 and 2. Like literally, like the rating, it's not quite as high as season 1, but a little higher than season 2. And so, it's a good thing they renewed the show for season 4. And because of its high ratings in the first half of the season, it dropped way worse in the second half. They should have kept Elsa and Anna around, honestly. But, because of the first half, they renewed it for season 5, obviously. And who knows why they renewed it for season 6. There's 7 seasons in total, for anyone who's wondering. They got renewed. They got renewed for 3 more seasons, regardless, for some reason. Maybe because of Frozen. So anyway, well, I guess we'll see you next week for the Frozen arc. I will change my profile tomorrow morning, so you can look forward to that. There is a Once Upon a Time special for this season. This season is also this upcoming season is also breaks the 22 episode tradition. It has 23 episodes, and with 2 specials to represent the 2 arcs, we have 25 episodes next season. So it's going to be a little longer, but not as long as this season has been. If you count the Wonderland series, we had an additional 13 episodes in September, so that's what took us longer. We would have been on the second half of season 4 right now if it weren't for that spinoff. But unlike, okay, I did tell you there's a time gap halfway through when the Frozen arc finishes. There is a time gap again, but don't worry, we don't have another spinoff show. The Wonderland series was the only spinoff show, and they didn't even get a season 2. So we're not going to pause the show halfway through. We're just going to start right into the second half, regardless of the time jump. Okay, so don't worry. We're not going to spend as long in this upcoming season as we did in season 3. They will go a lot faster, just like season 1 and 2. Okay, I know we were in season 3 for a long time, and I'm sorry for that, but don't worry, things are picking up now. So until next week, God be with you till we meet again. I'm looking forward to doing Frozen with you. I hope you can stick around for that. I hope that doesn't stop you from watching our marathon. Even if you don't like this season, please stick around. Just watch how it all ends, okay? Stick around for the end, okay? Most people dropped off the show. Most people now who watch the show now drop off the show around this point. And when this was on the air, almost the same thing happened, except people stuck around because they liked the Frozen arc back when it was live. So people might not like it now, but they did like it back then. So and even when the Frozen arc's over, I don't want you to be one of those viewers back in 2013 or 14 that dropped off for the second half, because almost no one liked the second half of season 4. That's when they said Once Upon a Time was not doing very good. It was after the Frozen arc. But please, 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 regardless of Once Upon a Time's mistakes and issues and imperfect plot decisions and stuff, okay? I love the show. I was one of the few loyal fans left that loved the show all the way till the end. I never once thought, oh, I don't like this now, I'm dropping off. No, it was my favorite show. I liked every season. Sure, there's episodes I didn't like, but I liked every season as a whole. Obviously I have my least favorite, and those are the later seasons. But don't worry. Please stick with me until the show ends, okay? And on that note, we're gonna wrap up. I'm done talking. I'm so sorry for talking so long. So I'm gonna say goodbye only once. But since I'm gonna end Facebook first, YouTube, enjoy a 15-second awkward silence, okay? All right. Well, okay. Have a great night, guys. See you next week. Happy Frozen. I did release a trailer last week, and I wrote in it. I wrote in a title. I wrote on the trailer. Let it go, let it go. So maybe you already knew Frozen was coming because I gave you that hint. But if you didn't know, Frozen is coming to Once Upon a Time. So until next week, have a great week. God be with you till we meet again, and happy rest of your night. Can't wait to do Frozen with you next week. And guess what? I did tell you we have 2 more nights of 4 episodes. The end of the series and the beginning of season 4. So yes, we will be doing 4 episodes next week. So no Q&A. Pre-warning you. I'm sorry. I know 4 episodes is a little bit much. But I told you we would have to do that 7 times in the marathon, and we've done it 3 times. Once in season 1, 3 times in season 2, and once in Wonderland. So Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. So that's a total of 5. We only have 2 more left because Once Upon a Time season 4 has 25 episodes in total. With the Once Upon a Time specials, which we're not going to skip. 4, 8, 12. Well, no, let's see. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and 24. And, usually we try to cover a whole season in 8 weeks. And for 25 episodes, you can't do that in 8 weeks. Because as you see, 3 times 4 is 24. So we have to do 4 episodes one night. And I looked at the season, and the best time to do 4 episodes is at the beginning of the season. Because otherwise it messes up later on. And so anyway, if we don't want anything to mess up, we got to do it next week. So we stay tuned for 4 episodes and a Once Upon a Time special. Okay? All right. I know I said I was going to end it before, but I kept talking. I'm sorry. I'm done talking officially now. So, okay. Bye, y'all.